Good, how are you?
Members of the City Council. Before Suzanne Madison joins you this evening, I just wanted to introduce the item. So at the direction of the City Council and in furtherance of the city's adopted strategic plan, staff has engaged the services of Allegra Consulting to assist in the rebranding of the crossing specific plan area. As part of this effort, Allegra conducted interviews with the City Council, business owners, property owners, and Chamber of Commerce representatives as well. So tonight we have Suzanne Madison again with Allegra to present you with her findings and kind of go over those interviews, what she heard, and provide you with some options for what we can do with the rebranding of the specific plan area. You may love one of the rebrand names and taglines, and we can move forward with it. Or if you have some feedback and want to maybe tweak it a little bit or move in a different direction, we can do that too. We hope for the former. Hope you love something, but if you don't and want to kind of tweak it, then we can do that as well. So I'll have ask Suzanne to come up and kind of walk you through her presentation, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar.
Thanks, Omar. Good afternoon or good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Maggie, and council members. I'm Suzanne with Allegra. I am the CEO, and I'm really excited to be here this evening. It has been a long trek getting to this point, and we have an excellent presentation that I think you'll all enjoy. It's very creative. Before I go into the presentation, I'd like to thank Matt, Omar, Maggie, city staff for all the work and all the support that they gave us around this project. Okay. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, this presentation should take about 20 minutes, and then we'll open it up for question and answers.
Sure.
Thank you. So we have an agenda here. We have 3 sections of the presentation where we'll go over just top-level responses of stakeholder outreach and the small group conversations. We'll talk a little bit about placemaking and trends in development around the Southern California market. And then we'll go into renaming, and then we'll talk a little bit about summary and recommendations. So during the public outreach period, we launched an online survey, and we had community conversations. With the online survey, we had over 200 responses with 69 incompletes. Let's see, over 40% of the respondents were residents and community members, almost 25% were consumers, and approximately 23% were property owners. We were really excited to see 23% of the crossings property owners respond to the survey. They gave us a lot of really good information that we were able to take and apply towards the renaming. 10% of the respondents represented various professional associations. Small group conversations. So we had 6 virtual interviews and conversations with property owners, council members, business retailers within the crossings, and Chamber of Commerce members. And some of you participated in these conversations. So small group conversations from property owners. Some participants expressed a sense of untapped potential and lack of identity in the area. They highlighted the need for a well-thought-out plan with a strong mix of uses to attract investors and transform the area. They mentioned, and you guys know this, challenges included fragmented ownership and difficulty in assembling small parcels. The group discussed the need for improved infrastructure, visual branding, and signage to create a distinct destination. In the interviews with you guys, council members, you guys mentioned that the project is located near an expanded freeway system, giving the crossings a great advantage, but it's hard to visualize. You also mentioned that the city is motivated to work with the first developer and support associated benefits. You guys suggested that we study Victoria Gardens and Bella Terra and take the inspiration and apply it to the branding, which we did. You also mentioned that you understand that there are 88 property owners lacking direction, and we need to find a way to work with them. Small group conversations, just again, this is top level. The actual study, I believe it was like over 60 pages. We have it here, so if you guys want to thumb through it, this is just top level feedback. Small group conversations with business and retailers within the crossings. They suggested the necessity of diverse businesses and increased housing to attract a younger population and balance out the older, aging demographic. The potential for the crossings to become a vibrant hub like Bellaterra was emphasized, and the importance of keeping consumer spending and economic development within Fountain Valley. They also suggested that there should be a focus on community engagement, gathering feedback, and considering the needs of both current and future residents while improving infrastructure. Infrastructure came up over and over and over. They also mentioned the need for high-speed internet access. Chamber of Commerce small group conversation. The need for a clear identity and compelling plan to attract investment and transform the area with potential for retail was discussed. They also mentioned that they knew that a study was done pre-COVID, but since the market had changed, we probably need to look at updating that study. Maggie's going, yes. The area's strengths included the freeway accessibility, proximity to airports, shopping centers, strong economic conditions. They suggested that we learn from other successful development projects, and they gave us some leads that we looked to. Improvements in infrastructure, slowing down the traffic, visual branding, and the development of a distinct destination identity were deemed necessary. It was advised to finalize a general strategy before proceeding with branding considerations. Stakeholder outreach, what stakeholders would like to change about the crossings. Improve fast-moving traffic and better flow. Enhance the appearance, including outdoor dining and seating areas. Create a cohesive space with multiple attractions and focus on walkability. Design the area for an efficient pedestrian access, mass transit, including pedestrian bridges. I'm sure you guys are familiar with complete streets. That came up a few times in the conversation. Improve pedestrian access and continuity. Bring in better restaurants and stores, making the retail environment more attractive. Restrict high-density housing development. Involve residents in the decision-making for future development related to traffic improvements and parking availability. So just some top-level recommendations to consider before we move into placemaking and then the proposed names. Develop a comprehensive general strategy for the crossings, renaming and branding, which is underway here. Engage investors and real estate developers. Provide support and incentives for property owners to engage. Create a public-private partnership. Address affordable housing. I believe one of you suggested that we look to Victoria Gardens. They have a very successful public-private partnership, which I'll show you in a future slide. Community engagement. Invest in architectural continuity and wayfinding signage. Establish a sense of place. Any questions before I go into placemaking? You guys knew all this already. Okay. Destinations give cities an identity and image to their communities that help attract new residents, businesses, and investors. So what makes a great place? There are 4 key attributes. Can anyone tell me what makes a great place? Do you guys know the 4 key attributes? They're on the slide.
Yeah.
Okay. Accessible and being well connected. Comfortable and project a positive image. Everyone wants to go to a place that's comfortable. They do not want to feel like they're putting themselves in harm's way. Attract people to participate in activities. Sociable environments where people want to gather and return. So those are the 4 key attributes that placemaking is surrounded by. Benefits of great places. Once we have our arms around placemaking, the benefits of great places: creates improved accessibility, promotes a sense of comfort, promotes health and wellness, nurtures and defines sense of community, fosters social interaction, builds and supports an equitable local economy. Trends in development. Americana at brand. Are you guys familiar with the Americana at brand in Glendale? No? Okay, so Americana at Brand is a mixed-use lifestyle center. I highly recommend you go visit it, go shopping. Situated on only 15.5 acres and is organized as Glendale's city center. The architecture is mixed with styles, heights, and various materials. It has a large shopping, dining, entertainment, and residential complex in Glendale, California. Tenants include Nordstrom's, Amazon Retail, and Barnes & Noble, an actual bookstore. This project was built by Rick Caruso. It also features 100 condominiums, 242 luxury apartments, 32 restaurants, and retailers. What makes the Americana at Brand successful is it is a place. There's a place for people to gather. In the center, it has a musical fountain, a trolley car, and a landscape park. Prior to the Americana, the site had strip malls with a Big Five sporting good, a skate park, and other older retailers. This is one of the projects that the outreach and public input suggested that we look at.
How many owners were there prior to them converting over to this?
I'm sorry?
How many owners owned properties in that area, or was it one property owner that Rick Caruso bought?
There were several property owners within the Americana. Okay. There were several strip malls. There was a skate park. Rick Caruso, who has very deep pockets, he had to assemble and pull it all together. Yeah. And maybe he's our guy for the crossings. We'll see. The lab, the anti-mall in Costa Mesa, this came up as a project to look at. It's only 3.4 acres. It's designed for our TikTokers, our Gen Ys. It's a 42,000 square foot concept. It has a rock climbing park. It has an indoor pool, casting pond, test fishing reels, juice bar, and restaurants. Bella Terra kept coming up over and over and over as a development that we should look at. It's right next door to us in Huntington Beach with an outdoor shopping mall, the former site of Huntington Center, and it's only on 58 acres. It was rebirthed in 2006. You guys are familiar with Bella Terra. The Spectrum Irvine Center, 38-acre site located in the center of Orange County. It's a lifestyle center. It has a beautiful outdoor shopping center, anchor tenants, Nordstrom's, Target, Edwards Cinema. What makes this site exciting and special is it has a place for people to gather. It has a Ferris wheel. It has an outdoor cinema. It has just lots of walking paths, easy to get to, lots of parking, 130 retail shops and restaurants. The last project that we looked at and we studied, Victoria Gardens in Rancho Cucamonga. It's 147 acres, mixed-use development. It was a public-private partnership between the developer and the city of Rancho Cucamonga. It features a performing arts center, a public library, office space, 500 residential units, retail anchors are JCPenney's, Macy's, Bass Pro Shop, and smaller retail shops. Any questions? Okay, so we'll move to the fun stuff, color theory. So color theory is important. It guides designers. It also moves people, and it affects emotions. As seen in the Fountain Valley logo, the blue symbolizes the vast sky, boundless sea, open spaces, imagination, and trust. The blue in the Fountain Valley logo, it also connects people to the history that Fountain Valley has with water, the underground water. Teal. And these colors were driven through stakeholder outreach. They suggested that we use blue and teal. They recommended teal because they want people to remember that Fountain Valley is close to a body of water. We're close to an ocean. So we wanted to use the color teal. So next we're going to move to the renaming suggestions. Before I go to the renaming suggestions, can I get a drum roll? Thanks, Matt. Okay, so we have 4 names that we'd like to propose. Our graphic design team took the liberty of creating visuals around the 4 names. Some of the names came from stakeholder input, and some of the names came from our brainstorming sessions inside of our office. So we've gone through the drum roll. Thank you, Matt. The first name, public input, Omni. Omni. And Allegra came up with the tagline, your ultimate lifestyle destination. The term Omni conveys the idea of an all-encompassing or all-inclusive name, suggesting that the destination aims to cater to a wide range of interests and needs. It signifies a place where people from different backgrounds can come together, fostering a sense of unity and diversity. Omni. So what do you guys think about Omni? You like Omni? Yes. You can see the visual again, just to bring the name to life, playing with the color theory, and then giving it a tagline, and then bringing in the Fountain Valley icon we thought would help this study session. So Omni. Our graphic design team took the liberty of mocking up a street pole banner, so that way you guys could see exactly what a banner might look like should we go with the name Omni. Placemaking is important. A couple of the comments that came out of the public input process is that people do not know where the crossings begin and where it ends. So we're proposing wayfinding signage and directional signage inside of whatever we name this project.
Isn't the Omni, isn't that a hotel chain, if I remember correctly? And I think there's a sports arena called the Omni.
We'd have to look
Or
at
used
that.
to be anyway, I'm old. Maybe it's
Yeah, we'll double check that. Omni, live your best life. Just another example of bringing this name to life. We've been brainstorming the possibility of bringing in a night market. We're in communication with the 626 Night Market people. They have a very successful program at the Santa Anita Racetrack. They're also in Costa Mesa. It's where all the food trucks gather, they have entertainment, and it's a great way to activate a location. To the right here, you can see what Omni might look like on a social media graphic, and then digital media in the bottom right corner. The next name, Nexus at Fountain Valley. The tagline, vibrant living redefined. The term nexus denotes a focal point or hub emphasizing the gathering of individuals, businesses, and activities. As a placemaking destination, Nexus aims to foster interaction, collaboration, engagement among community members. It symbolizes the interconnectedness of various aspects such as social, cultural, and economic dimensions, creating a vibrant and thriving environment. Nexus at Fountain Valley. Our team took the liberty of mocking up the name. We're not married to any of these names. They were just to bring more energy to this study session. Vibrant Living Redefined, although I like this particular visual. Our graphic design team mocked up what wayfinding signage might look like. We've been brainstorming the concept of an art walk every third Thursday of the month. To the right, you can see what Nexus might look like on a smart device. The third name that we're proposing is Hub. Hub, where communities converge and lifestyles emerge. It signifies a central location where people can converge, connect, and engage in various activities. Hub, as a placemaking concept for the crossings, conveys the idea of a lively, dynamic space that serves as the heart of the community, offering a range of amenities, events, and experiences for residents and visitors alike. Hub. Mayor, I see you looking. Well, wait till we show you the visual.
Okay.
Hub. Just an interesting way of looking at it. Design with the tagline to the right, and then incorporating the city's beautiful fountain icon. You can see the beautiful waves in the background of the typography, Hub. Our team mocked up a street pole banner, Hub, Experience Urban Living at its best. So if you guys decided to build housing, this might be an example of an implementation. digital media, just so you guys can see what Hub might look like on an advertisement. Verve at Fountain Valley. The tagline, shop, dine, and live your best life. The word verve means energy, enthusiasm, and liveliness. The name suggests a vibrant and dynamic gathering place where people come together, bringing their energy and excitement. Verve aims to appeal to a younger demographic by evoking a sense of vitality and a lively atmosphere. Verve. And this is what a visual could look like. Again, our design team actually took the Fountain Valley, the icons, and I believe there are 8, and they put it in a circular pattern and put it on the to the left. Shop, dine, and live your best life. Pretty clever. Verve, what the banner might look like, just playing off of the furniture stores that are already inside of the center. Verve. This is if we decided, or if you decided to work with the furniture stores, we kind of came up with a micro campaign, the Fernie District at Verve, make yourself at home, where we would help with marketing the furniture stores inside of this community. Okay, implications of rebranding the crossings. And then I'll bring this to a close and open it up for questions and answers. So we would need to establish the brand by choosing a name and retooling the visual. There would be a brand development process, placemaking, signage, and monumentation, which the public input said that we needed to make that happen. We need to include this initiative into the general plan and development strategy. The timeline will take about 6 months to 1 year. Considerations would be staff time. You know, how much staff time will we need in order to implement this? And then how do we activate this area with micro events? Like I said, we were brainstorming weekly night markets, quarterly art walks in collaboration with the public schools and local artists, a possible furniture store promotion in conjunction with HGTV's hometown show. So I will bring this to a close, and I will turn this back over to Omar, and I am here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Do you guys have any questions, any thoughts, any feedback?
Any comments or questions?
I'll go first. So one thing that I was pushing for is the fact that we already have furniture stores there. We have quite a few furniture stores that are quite successful. So I don't really like Verve that much, but I like the fact that one highlighted what we have, and to build off of that. That brings in quite a bit of sales tax revenue into our city. Mm-hmm. And there's some nice designer places there that we could potentially start with that and then expand out. If we don't start with something, we'll never expand to anything. I kind of like the idea of doing events there to attract people, because if you attract people, then somebody's going to want to open up a store there or do something and start to develop. I think we're going to have to incentivize somebody to come and do something there. That's not going to be something that, you know, people are going to knock down our doors to hold events in this area. I'd also like us to coordinate something with our Chamber of Commerce as well, especially regarding furniture, and, you know, directing them towards helping us develop this area, again, from something that's there and building out from that. But, you know, in terms of the naming, I don't know, are we jumping into that yet, or does anybody else want to talk about something before we jump into
Vice Mayor, can we stay on the furniture?
Sure.
Yeah, expanding. Okay. So we are in communication with HGTV. They're actually in Huntington Beach right now working on one of their hometown shows. So they're interested in a possible collaboration with the furniture stores within the crossings. So that could, you know, bring a lot of excitement and interest, and it's something that we can build on.
I like that.
Good. Thank you.
I have a different thinking, not saying it's bad. In terms of name branding or keeping with this furniture here, we haven't heard the developers, right? What happened, the developers has a different mindset, bring it in, and the furniture completely come out. Like the Americana City project is totally different. They were more in town to the restaurants. So would it be a little bit too early in the game, and we should see what kind of developers are planning coming in and what are they proposing? They might be proposing just a whole bunch of entertainment, which is restaurants and all kind of activities.
That would be nice.
So that's what I'm saying. If we name brand, should we have a little bit some ideas? Who are some of the interest developers that's coming in, and what are their plan?
Yeah, definitely we
Because
should.
you want to hear their input, right?
Yeah,
You want to bring something in, and the developer who has the mean, that means what? The time, the money, and the resource. But their project doesn't match with the name brand we just created.
But it's a name, and
Okay.
it's, yeah.
So that's why I want to find out, is
Yeah.
the too
It's
early?
a modern name, and it's an updated name, and then these are attractive names
Okay.
that could attract a developer to this project.
Okay.
With having a new name and then having micro events inside of this area, placemaking will bring energy and excitement and people, and it's something that we can build on, and it's possibly something that the developers can build on and get excited about being a part of.
And this is, I don't want to mean to, by any means, to shut down the name Verb, like Vice Mayor just mentioned, but to me, it was, I have no clue what that means. So what's the majority of people is going to Verb, what is a Verb means, right? Mostly you will Google up, that's what it means, right? But a hub, everybody knows a hub. That's a destination of everything that was going on there. It could entail more of a general, not the specific. I was looking at the logo hub. The only thing that I'm not too crazy is like there has a little thing. It's like some people say, "What is that? Is it T? What is it?" Right?
All the design, yeah.
Yeah, that's the part that I'm.
Or an F.
Or an F. So that I'm not too,
Yeah.
it didn't catch my attention on the first. But the UB, I get it. But the T, people might know, like, what is that? Right.
Yeah.
And Councilman Borack, I wasn't suggesting that we go out and get a bunch more furniture stores.
Okay, right,
I
of
was
course.
saying, let's build off of what we have,
Right.
create events, open up a restaurant, and then you have to start somewhere.
Absolutely.
That's what I meant by that.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's up.
Yeah. And like I said, we're not married to any of these visuals. The whole point or purpose of having the visuals around the names is to just bring, I guess, more conversation to the study session. Thank you.
I had a question.
Sure.
So first of all, I really like the graphics. I think that you guys did a great job on the graphics for all of them. I really like those. You mentioned something when you talked to the developers. They said that one of their comments was to improve the infrastructure. What do they mean by that? That could mean a lot of things.
To improve the infrastructure,
Yeah.
to improve sidewalks, to lighting, to make it more pedestrian friendly. I brought can I just grab my binder here and
Sure,
I can
yeah.
read some exact comments? And Omar, feel free to jump in the deep end with me. Yeah. So infrastructure, slowing it down, making it a place where people could walk and park and spend time.
If I may chime in, council member, in our crossing-specific plan, those are all identified, and parking, how we can improve that area to make it more pedestrian-friendly, to have walkability sidewalk
Yeah.
instead of what we currently have right now.
Oh, okay. So more pedestrian access, that kind of stuff. I like the
Pedestrian
pedestrian.
access.
I like the pedestrian bridge idea. That seems like a good idea. With regards to the name, was there any thought or ideas to use some sort of historical reference? I know there's. My parents live in Healdsburg. There's a railroad that goes through the town. They're redeveloping the railroad, so they're calling it the railroad district or something. So is there any historical, I guess, thing in that area that we can
Some names did come up. Stakeholder mentioned Riverwalk.
Oh, yeah, it's right next to the river.
Yeah, because we're next to a river, but there's not a place where anyone can walk. When you think of a river walk, you think of
Walking along the river.
walking along a river
And having water in.
and having water in the river. Yeah.
It's more of a channel, yeah, the channel walk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason why the names are where they are is because we really wanted the names to be short, memorable. We wanted the names to definitely appeal to the stakeholders here in Fountain Valley, but we wanted to also look to the future. We want to make sure that the name, with whatever we land on, appeals to our younger demographics, because they're the ones spending the money right now.
Okay.
Yeah, the issue I have with the hub is that was my number 4 choice out of the 4, is because you think of a transportation hub. That's the first thing that comes to my mind, and that doesn't appear to be a transportation hub. And there's, I think, some negative connotation towards that a little bit. I kind of like Nexus just because it has the word kind of like next, like the future, but it also has us in there. So it's like we're us. We're
Yeah.
all coming together. So I kind of like that one a little bit.
Did you notice that on the visual?
I do now. I like that. And I like the arrows going to the future.
Yes.
Very good. I like
Yes,
it. I like
just
it more
again
now.
playing with the visual, but we tried to make the U.S. us pop in that. But again, we could retool it so that it really stands out.
Yeah, I think the other thing I liked was all the signs on the street poles. I think that's really important. That we should, maybe we can get that going soon. So we kind of better define the area. Yeah.
Yes, signage is important. Mayor?
Well, I mean, Nexus kind of reminds me of like products like hair care products and things, shampoo or something like that. I don't know. The hub is kind of slang. I don't know. I'm not crazy for any of them, quite frankly. Any other comments?
Yeah, I can just give you my list. And I was originally drawn to Omni, but Nexus is a close second in my mind. And then I had Hub as third, Verb as fourth. So I'm already kind of there.
Yeah, I think when a stakeholder, when they presented Omni, they said Omni Town. They wanted to call it Omni Town, and we decided to drop off the town because we didn't want for people to get confused that there was a city inside of, or a town inside of the city of Fountain Valley. So we abbreviated it and came up with Omni, which we like as well.
So I did Google. There are Omni hotels already, and there's an Omni Coliseum in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I think
Yeah,
it's okay.
no, I know.
That there's, as long as it's positive.
Yeah.
As long as it's, as long as there's not a lot of negative media around it. But I think that it's okay that someone else is using the name.
Can we continue coming up with names? Or is this like it, or?
Are we supposed to decide today?
I don't.
I thought it was just a presentation.
Yeah, oh, thank you. He's in the deep end now.
So if there was a clear direction we wanted to go in, if we heard that, then I think we would go in that direction. I'm not hearing a clear direction unless the council tells me otherwise. If you want to think about it for a little while, we can come back to you so you can kind of digest it and think about it. I think that might be helpful. I will say, I had a Renaissance Plaza we did one time, and then I found out there's like 50 Renaissance Plazas. It was okay. It was our Renaissance Plaza. You will find other places, other things with these names. They're words out there, so you're going to have them. I think, what I heard is that we have the crossings right now. That was kind of has no meaning, and so I think any of these would be better than what is out there now. We did like Nexus because it was kind of like what's next for us. kind of that connection. So we were kind of drawn to that as well. We threw out the vibe because that's a big word right now, but there's going to be a vibe in Anaheim. I'm not sure we want to call it the vibe. So we came up with these names. If we'll have you digest it, we'll come back to you at a later point. And if you say we like one of these, great. If you say, well, maybe let's think about some other names, then we can go back to the drawing board and come up with some others, or bring you some of the other alternatives. We had probably 20 that we went through, and we dialed it down to these 4 or 5, and so we can do that as well. But whatever direction you want to give us, if you want to think about it and come back to you in a few weeks, or check back with you, that's fine too.
Maybe we could do a breakout session in the strategic planning session on this. I think
That'd be
that
great,
might
too.
be good. Spend a half hour, some more time than what we had.
And I think just to touch on the furniture district, I think what we were thinking is they're there now. At some point, the area may redevelop, but in the short and near term, they're there. Let's enhance the area. Let's draw more energy and vitality out of those uses, because they're there, and it's not going to change the next couple of years. And so let's draw on what we have now, and then if and when it redevelops, then we'll change. But at least let's gain some momentum from what's out there now.
Yeah. I like the Nexus. What's next for us? That has a nice ring to it. I don't know. I'm not sure what the tagline was in the presentation, but I like Omar's tagline.
Nexus.
It's much better than vibrant living redefined. Like Nexus, what's next for us? I think is a lot.
I like that too.
think
What's
that's-
next for us? And that's usually how taglines and renaming evolves, or how it takes shapes. It's usually people giving us feedback. Sit down.
Sure, Maggie, yes.
That's right.
So if City Council want to have a further discussion at the strategic planning on November 16th, can we narrow like 1 or 2 so we can have a dialogue there? Because right now we have 4.
Sure.
If you can assist us on that, I think that would be beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of liking Nexus the more that I hear it
Yeah, I think
out of all the
Nexus, too.
4. I'm trying to, I mean, this is a big change, Anybody
Stick with
else?
Nexus or further discussion with Nexus at the strategic planning session?
What do you guys think?
I'd say further discussion, the plan at the strategic planning, but let's lean towards Nexus for now unless something better comes up, either there or prior to it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Suzanne and Omar. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take a 5-minute break. We will start the open session at 6:10. Thank you. Tuesday evening Fountain Valley City Council meeting. It's Tuesday, October 17th, and I'm going to do a call to order at this point. It's 6:11. We're going to have the invocation tonight by Pastor Dina Query with the Living Waters Christian Fellowship. They are also celebrating their 50 years here in Fountain Valley, so we look forward to presenting a certificate after. The moment of silence tonight will be Vice Mayor Grandis and salute to the flag by myself. So, if we could please have Pastor Dina come up, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. What an honor and a privilege this is. We'll be praying from my Christian perspective. Let's bow our head. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, I pray that your divine blessing is upon tonight's meeting. We thank you, Lord, for you are a wonderful counselor, a mighty God, the everlasting Father, and the Prince of Peace. We pray that you will bring peace on this earth, and we pray that you will bring goodwill to all men. We are thankful, Lord, for this night. We ask that you be with our city leaders and guide their discussion and their decisions. We thank you for the privilege of living and serving in the city of Fountain Valley. I pray blessings on those who serve our community to the best of their ability. We are so grateful, dear God, for this opportunity to gather in freedom, and may we always honor that privilege. We ask all these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight, we ask for all to stand and join in a moment of silence to memorialize the senseless killing of innocent men, women, and children in Israel. We hope for peace in the region, and our thoughts are with all the innocent families suffering such a great loss. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you.
So our attorney for the city, Colin Burns, will give us a report out from our closed session.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There was no reportable action.
Okay.
I'd like to just make a comment on closed session item number 3 that I did recuse myself from that item. Thank you.
Thank you. City Council Successor Agency Housing Authority, roll call, please.
Councilmember Bowie.
Here.
Councilmember Canine.
Here?
Councilmember Harper.
Here.
Vice Mayor, Vice Chair Grandis.
Here.
Mayor, Chair Constantine.
Here.
All members are present.
Sure. Do we have any supplemental communications?
Yes, one item in regards to item number 2 on tonight's agenda. There was a minor correction on the minutes from the October 3rd meeting, and they have been provided to the City Council and the public.
Great. City Manager update. Our City Manager is Maggie.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. I wanted to go ahead and congratulate Mia Sanchez from Fulton Middle School and Quinn Loftus from Valley Vista Middle School as a recipient of 2023-24 Fountain Valley Rotary Most Improved Student Program. The city is starting the adoption process for the general plan with Planning Commission consideration on October 25th, 2013 in the council chamber at 10200 Slater Avenue. There is a dump day and bag composite giveaway on Saturday, November 4th from 8 to 11 a.m. until intake capacity is reached. Location will be at our sports park, Recreation Center, 16400 Brookhurst Street. Items we will not accept include hazard material, batteries, paints, oil, chemical, etc., concrete, dirt, rocks, brick, asphalt, or sand, and treated wood and tires. Come join our Fire Reserve program if you're interested in a career in the fire service. For more information, please visit our website at fountainvalley.gov. 2023 Veterans of Distinction. Congresswoman Michelle Steele office is accepting nomination from the public for Veterans of Distinction in the 45th Congressional District. The deadline to nominate a veteran is Tuesday, October 24th. You can nominate by going to the city website at fountainvalley.gov. Did you know we have teen tech tutors on Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. at the center at Founders Village? You can call 714-593-4446 to schedule your appointment. And this Friday, City Hall will be closed on October 20th. That's it.
Thank you, Maggie. Just one item for the mayor's update. As the Fountain Valley trustee to the Orange County Mosquito and Vector Control Board, I just wanted to report that in the month of September, 1,235 adult mosquitoes were collected by them from our city. And year to date, that makes 3,049. And then the county-wide, 320,023 mosquitoes were collected for analyzation. And so far, so good. But if you have any questions and want more information about mosquitoes, and you might see some mosquitoes around your homes and the pools and that sort of thing, you can go to the website ocvector.org, and there's a lot of resources and information there. Okay. So it's time for the first presentation of 4, and I'm going to have my city council members join me because 50 years is very, very significant. This evening we'll be presenting Living Waters Christian Fellowship with a certificate in celebration of their 50th anniversary. This month, Living Waters is celebrating 5 decades of faith, unity, and transformation. And here to accept the award is their lead pastor, Dina Query. And we want to congratulate, and my city council members would join me.
Also going to have Pastor Dan come also. Thank you.
Quick photo, ready? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Now it's time for the Advisory Committee for Persons with Disabilities Awards Program. Presentation by John Borack. He's the chair of the Advisory Committee for Persons with Disabilities. And we have a lot of committee members here tonight.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. My name is John Borack. I am proud to serve as the chair of the Advisory Committee for Persons with Disabilities in the city of Fountain Valley. This evening, it's my pleasure to present the honorees for our 2023 awards. Since 2006, these annual awards have recognized our city's individuals and businesses that provide outstanding advocacy, support, and services to persons with disabilities. Examples of past honorees include Fountain Valley businesses that employ persons with disabilities, Fountain Valley businesses that are disability friendly, and residents who volunteer services to companies who provide services for persons with disabilities. We chose the month of October to recognize our recipients as it is National Disability Awareness Month. At this time, I'd like to invite Mayor Constantine to join me in recognizing our honorees.
Sure, of course.
We will begin with our first 2 honorees, each receiving a certificate of appreciation for going above and beyond in providing accommodations for persons with disabilities, starting with the Saigon Grand Center. Please join us up front. They were nominated by Luke Mai and Sly Lee, who wrote, "I'd like to nominate Saigon Grand Center for their remarkable leadership and commitment to our community, and especially for individuals with disabilities. Their commitment is evident through their provision of essential resources, opportunities, and empowerment initiatives that enable individuals with disabilities to enjoy and actively participate in various performance arts and events across all sectors. They go above and beyond by creating safe spaces that prioritize the needs of people with disabilities, ensuring full access and support. Their efforts extend to practical implementations, such as full-sized LED screens and venues with comprehensive disability accessibility and fully capable support staff, guaranteeing that every person can enjoy and engage in activities without hindrance. In this manner, Saigon Grand Center not only facilitates inclusivity, but also paves the way for individuals with disabilities to shine, enhancing the cultural fabric of our community. In addition, Saigon Grand Center has supported multiple special events this year, including one with an initiative aimed at raising awareness and providing aid for children in need of hearing aids and tools to attend school. Saigon Grand Center's ultimate dedication to uniting the community through arts and events creates a vibrant and cohesive environment that celebrates both solidarity and individuality. Congratulations.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. Over here. 1, 2, 3.
Our next honoree is First Class Pizza Fountain Valley, nominated by Brittany Bass. Unfortunately, they are unable to be with us tonight. I guess they're cooking up some pepperoni and sausage pies over there. But Brittany wrote, Mike and Tyler with First Class Pizza have expressed great empathy and compassion for our family every time we visit their establishment. We feel comfortable and welcome. They see the needs of my son with special needs and always accommodate accordingly. They are receptive to learning about elopement and provide a caring hand during a meltdown. As a parent, I feel I can eat and play in peace with my children without judgment. So congratulations to First Class Pizza. We will make sure they get this. Okay, our next three honorees are receiving awards for providing exemplary advocacy to persons with disabilities. I'd like to invite our first honoree, 9 Round Fitness Fountain Valley, represented by franchise owner Riza Asen, to join us. They were nominated by Paula Pinheiro. So Riza, if you can come up, please. Actually, let's have all of the crew come up. That's great. Okay, Paula wrote, I am a totally blind woman who is a homeowner in Fountain Valley and who was looking to keep fit, but I was always hesitant to locate a new gym or fitness center. Being that I am disabled, I wasn't sure how the staff would treat me. Once I located the 9 Round Kickboxing Club, I called, and coincidentally, the owner, Riza, answered. I was a little bit nervous in explaining that I was totally blind, but wanted to try the gym out. I'm always afraid that people will be afraid to give someone like myself a chance, and that if anything, I may be a burden or a liability. This was not the case at all. Riza was so happy to talk with me, get to know me, and immediately made an appointment so that I could try out the gym for free. In fact, when I met her in person, she was so excited and willing to work and train with a blind member like myself. There are a few trainers who work at this 9 Round location, and I want to make sure and let you know how wonderful these trainers and humans are. Every single time I am exiting my bus, they see me and come out from the gym to grab me up, guide me through the door, help me locate the bench, and they always let me know what slot is open in their locker area so I can put my goodies in the proper spot. There are a total of 9 stations, and every single station has exercise instructions posted, which change every day. Every single trainer there takes the time to read the instructions to me so that I know what to do in the 3 minutes of that round. They are all so patient, understanding, and caring, and go that extra step for those of us who cannot see. The trainers' names are Josh, Fletcher, and Robert, and I've worked with all of them, as well as the owner, Riza. In particular, I would like to recognize Josh, because whenever he knows I'm going to attempt to go to another store in that shopping center, he'll actually leave the gym and walk me down to Albertsons just to make sure that I get there safely. I have been a member there for almost a year now, and I go 3 times a week. Congratulations to 9 Round.
Ready? 1, 2, more for me. 1, 2, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next honoree is Efrain, and forgive me if I mispronounce your name, Efrain Grospe, nominated by Beth Hambleton. Please join us. Efrain, did I get that correct? Yes. Oh, very correct. Efrain Grospe, BSN, RN, CEN, has served at Memorial Care Orange County Medical Center for 27 years, 22 of those years as an emergency department RN, and has been the manager of emergency services for the past 11 years. I nominate Efrain because I have witnessed his consistent tender kindness towards persons with disabilities during my nearly 20 years of service at the hospital. He helps each person to feel safe in an otherwise challenging environment while working to ensure they get the best emergency care. Efrain can often be seen assisting persons with disabilities when he is off the clock, because that's just who he is. I have witnessed him end personal calls as he walks to his car to stop and assist others. Additionally, Efrain volunteers his time providing clinical support services to underserved communities, which includes those with disabilities. Congratulations, Efrain.
And over here. 1, 2. One more. Picture. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Okay, our final honoree tonight is Living Waters Christian Fellowship, represented by Senior Pastor Dina Query, nominated by Gail Olson. Please join us once again. Living Waters Christian Fellowship has provided outstanding accommodations for the deaf, hearing impaired, and sight challenged. They have 3 big LED screens with large, clear captions and artistic, calm backgrounds. Their sound system is excellent. I have brought in friends who have vision loss, hearing loss, and cognitive disorders, and they are all able to participate. Singing along with the songs, moving to the music, mouthing scripture, they feel, as I do, Gail says, a sense of belonging. Living Waters has a sensory-sensitive play area and accessible seating. One of the usher's sons has Down syndrome, and he helps and welcomes people as well. They have a way of making everyone feel loved and that we serve a purpose. This family church is willing to take needed action for equal access to all. Congratulations, Living Waters Christian Fellowship.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You go to a city council meeting and the paparazzi shows up. It's pretty cool. Well, congratulations to all of our recipients and businesses. Thank you for your commitment and dedication to persons with disabilities in the Fountain Valley community. We appreciate all your efforts. One more round of applause. Also wanted to mention that if anyone would like to nominate a business or an individual for an award in the future, nomination forms are available via the City of Fountain Valley's website. And I'd also like to take a quick moment to thank all of our Advisory Committee for Persons with Disability members who are in attendance this evening. Would you please stand? The mayor would actually like you to come up. The mayor would like you to come up. Okay.
Almost there. All right. Ready? 1. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. I'm almost done, I promise. In closing, I'd like to mention that another one of our committee's functions is to host bi-monthly dances for adults with disabilities, engaging our community in much-needed and fun social activity. Our last dance was a Halloween-themed dance, very successful. We had over 160 guests there dancing and in costumes. It was wonderful. Our next dance will take place at the Center at Founders Village on Friday, December 1st at 7 p.m., and we'd like to extend an invitation to all of our City Council members to attend. Thank you all so much for your time this evening, and a special thank you to the City of Fountain Valley for your support for persons with disabilities. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, John. Okay, item number 3 on the presentations, update on the fiber optic installation, introduction by Temo Galvez, our Deputy Public Works Director.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. So tonight we have an update from our partners at Frontier. We have Doug McAllister here to give an update on their progress with the fiber optic installation in town. Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council members. I'm back here once again to give you an update. I have one slide this time, so this one should be even shorter than last time. But mainly it's just allow you to ask questions if you have any whatsoever. But bottom line here is that we are moving forward with the build itself. Right now, what you're going to see a lot of on your streets are a lot of slurry happening. We were able to get that approved on our end as well, and work with your team, Maggie, to come up with an agreement to get that slurry completed. And so that has begun. I think it began as of the 9th, somewhere in there. And it's looking to be done, finish that portion of the build sometime around the first of the year. However, it's going a little quicker, and so if weather cooperates, we might get done sooner. But that's kind of, I'm going to look at probably January or so to finish the remediation efforts to fix those areas that should have been fixed a while ago. And we look like we're getting those done now. What you see here on the map is just a brief summary that they've kept simple so I can understand it. I have folks here, Bernie Contreras is here with me in case you have any questions that I don't know the answers to. But for now, let me just walk you through the map here. There's about 6,200 addresses that what we call are engineered. And basically that means someone in a cubicle somewhere has gone through and done all the fancy work to figure out how to get to those homes. And once again, this is it's fiber to the home is the build, so this is focused on residences. Of those 6,200 addresses, about 2,000 of them have been completed, and we're wrapping up the restoration of that portion of the build as well, which is part of the slurry program that we're doing right now. There's another about 680 that are going to be done. It looks like before the end of the year, we're trying to get those done, and the 2,000 we've done are the green polygons you'll see on your maps. I think it's the orange ones down there at the bottom. You'll see a couple areas there that are orange polygons. Those are the ones we want to finish by May of next year. We want to get those done by May of next year. Then there's another about 3,500 addresses that we still have. They're all engineered. We're ready to go with it. But it's as far as when we are going to get that started and finished is under to be determined. And that has several reasons for that. One is cost. Those of you who are in business understand the cost of money and things like that, and so we're working on scheduling this, but we're not ready to tell you when because we don't know yet when we're going to finish that part of it up. And then the brown territory up there is all AT&T. That's their area, and we can't infringe upon that. So if they don't infringe on us, we don't infringe upon them. So that's kind of the plan at this point. Beyond that, you should have folks who already have the service. And those who are in those areas that are green, and then by March or May of next year, in the orange ones as well, who should be able to have the service. I told you last time I was here, when I was on the council in Marietta, Verizon approached me, and I was trying to come up with a broadband backbone. And I couldn't come up with the $400 million it took to get the broadband backbone for our city. And they offered to make Marietta one of the first cities in the country to have this new thing called FiOS, which is the precursor to everything we're talking about now. Only back then, we're looking at 50 meg was the speed, which was really fast. And we're at 5 gigs up and down. and such. And so, but I will tell you that, and I told you last time, just the addition of the broadband backbone at that point, for what we were looking for, turned us from a betterment community into a biotech community. Now, that was at 50 megs. Since then, a lot of water has been under the bridge, including COVID. And because of that, folks have kind of had a hankering now for working from home. And the ability to do that has just grown exponentially as we continue to, our fiber continues to pervade your city there. More and more of your folks will be able to have the opportunity to actually work from home, probably have better internet service than they have at work. And that allows for some great opportunity. But what it allowed for us, and my encouragement to you before I close, is that I know personally we exploited that in our messaging to the world when it came to trying to build a business and economic development aspect for our city. And I would encourage you to do the same with this, to let the folks know that when you're talking, I don't care if you're at ICSC or wherever you are, talking to businesses and things, is let them know you've got this. And that allows them to do things here that they may not do someplace else that where they don't have this. This is not a sales pitch. This is real life that happened to me, and it changed our city for the better. And so it's just a matter of promoting that. So with that, I'll leave it open for questions if you have any.
Council members? Sure.
Thanks for the update, Doug. I have a question for the non-residential. Are you guys planning to or already provide fiber optic for the non-residential areas?
We handle that differently.
Okay.
But yes, the answer is yes. Many cases we passed them on the way to their houses, and so it's a lot easier to do it that way. Okay. But it's a whole different process. One of the purposes for the position they created when they recruited me was to just do away with silos in the company. And so if you have a business that you need to get in contact with them, just if you know about it, you call me. You've got my number. You've got my emails. If you don't have it, she has it, and you reach out to me at any time that you'd like, and I will get them in contact with the right people, and we get that process started for the businesses as well. But yes, and many times, I'm correct me if I'm wrong, Bernie, but we can go beyond the 5 gigs for some of those businesses as well.
But do you have I guess the sort of the I'll call it infrastructure, for lack of a better word. Do you have something in place in those areas so they can you call them and they connect pretty quickly, or?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes not, and in those cases we have to build to them.
Okay.
And so that's part of the discussion. That's why we do it differently. It's not, because many times you look at there, by the time we're done here, we will be between the blue area that we did 10 years ago and then the orange area and the green areas and then eventually the yellow areas. We will basically be everywhere. And so if it's not, there's 2 sections here. There's what we call our feeder lines, and then there's our distribution lines. The distribution lines are going into the neighborhoods, but the feeder areas go by everything. And so that allows us to have at least the beginnings of infrastructure to answer those calls when the businesses want that. And we like that because we want to service those businesses. Obviously, it's good for our business as well.
Okay. I have a question for the city manager. Do you get questions from, I guess, businesses in the non-residential area about internet access? I know we tried to get it across the street, and it was tough. We had Spectrum, but they didn't really have good service, and WISP had some kind of service, but I don't think fiber was even sort of mentioned as being available.
I have not had any question that came from me from businesses in regards to technology services at this point in time. Okay. I think it's residents that's inquiring at this point.
Yeah, I think we need to make sure that the businesses know that it's available in the Fountain Valley, because I don't think that awareness is out there.
The reason I exist when it comes to Frontier, I have other reasons to exist, but the reason I exist when it comes to Frontier is that if anything rises to your level, to Maggie, to your level, to the council's level, that makes it important to me. Yeah. Otherwise, your staffs are going to be working with my staff. But if it rises to your level, I don't care how small it is, you reach out to me and I will take care of it. So if you know of a business that has been frustrated trying to find information about this, give me their contact information. I'll have the right people reach out to them and get them the answers they need.
And I have a question on the blue area. Those have been engineered but not available, or
those were done about 10 years ago.
So the blue is, so what's available now? If I live in the blue area,
Right now,
or the green area.
Yeah, the green, the blue are available for the. I know the blue area is available now because that was 10 years ago. The green, I'm pretty sure all that's available because I think we finished all of that. And then the orange areas will be available by May of 2024. We call that open for sale.
Okay.
And so once we have gotten past them and now they can order service, that's when they'll be available. It's the yellow ones I don't know the dates for yet.
Okay. And then a question for Temo, I guess. What's going to happen? What's happening with the kind of the red area? Is that just a dead zone now, or what? When are we going to get fiber optic up there?
Are you talking about the areas on the northeast?
Yes. Uh-huh.
So those areas look like they may be portions that will be covered by Sci-Fi, but they're looking at the different areas that they're going to be covering and coming up with a plan.
Does AT&T want to build fiber up there, or?
I believe in the AT&T area where we have not communicated with AT&T.
Okay. Well, can we communicate with them so we can?
Yeah, we can do that.
there?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We can connect with them.
All right.
Is that here somewhere?
Yeah, I believe are you talking about the area that was the area that's designated AT&T?
It's
We can talk to
AT&T
them.
territory.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the sooner we can get fiber throughout the city, the better it's going to be for everybody. So
Yes.
let's make sure we're not neglecting any of the areas. Okay, thanks for the update.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to see you guys keep going without delays, because I think you were talking a little bit about, I was writing and I apologize, but you are going to keep going, right?
Right.
It's really,
Right. Yeah.
this time is.
We want more customers.
Sure. Okay.
But we have to do it in a business smart way, and so we have to watch the budgets and things like that. Some places are more costly to build in than others, and so you'll see right now a lot of what we're doing is stuff that's on poles.
Right, but I understand, we have a contract with you guys, so,
Right.
yeah.
Well, I'm not sure what.
We don't? Oh,
No, it's Sci-Fi that we had an agreement
oh, I see.
in place.
I apologize.
Oh, no worries.
All right.
No worries.
We're just excited.
Yeah.
Because we need more choices. People, there's a lot of, it's true, there are businesses that want internet connection, they don't have it, and they're excited.
And we're excited to provide it for them. And once I hear about who those are and stuff, and if there's the opportunity to put content on even on your website to as far as that's concerned, to help them get the word out, us get the word out, all of us get the word out to those businesses that that's a possibility, then I'll work with my folks to get that content to you.
Sure, thank you. Anyone else? Sure.
Yeah, so I have a big concern with the center of your screen. All of our, that's not any color, along Warner to Slater, where all of our apartments are. Is there a reason that we're not providing fiber to our apartments?
In some cases, that's a separate thing from fiber to the home, individual homes. In many cases, those are HOAs, and you have to get bulk agreements. And so we are actively working on those things because if we can't just go in and get one apartment, for instance. It has to be, we're building to an apartment complex. We need a bulk agreement with the apartment complex to do the whole apartment complex. And we do that with all HOAs everywhere. And so that's probably why that's not shown yet. Part of that because that's not part of the FTTH build. That's under the commercial side, the business side of things. And but it's a process right now where our goal is that we'd love to have those, obviously, but we have to have agreements from them. And sometimes it's hard to get hold of the right person to find out who that is and such. So if you have any of those apartment complexes that are interested in having that discussion with us, once again, let me know and I'll get the right people talking to them.
Okay. And then what was formerly our crossings area, I know that's commercial again, but we need to have fiber in that area, which is where the freeway dissects the quadrant right at the bottom right, where the AT&T section comes up too.
Gotcha.
But I'm really concerned, and I'm going to go fight for those apartment complexes because those residents need fiber.
Yep. And we want to give it to them. We just have to have agreements with those complexes because we can't just come in and build there because it's private property and so forth.
And you're saying, I noticed City Hall is not colored there either. I'm hoping that you can bring fiber to the City Hall here. But I could see my neighbors have been complaining to me. We're an HOA right next to City Hall here too, and it's not colored. So I will make sure I get you in touch with the
Right.
HOA there. So are you saying it's all or nothing for the HOA, that
Right.
they have to provide it to all the
A
residents?
lot of the times HOAs already have bulk agreements with somebody else, and so we
But they
can't
don't.
go in there. But if they don't have a bulk agreement, we want to talk to them. We absolutely do want to talk to them because we'll make that
Okay,
happen.
I'll get you in touch with them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Sure.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate the update. Just two quick items. One, you talked about some of the customer usage. I can tell you, I have neighbors next door. They're both in tech. One works for YouTube. One works for Apple.
Wow.
And they bought your service and they love it.
Mhm.
They say it's fantastic. Yeah.
Good.
So just some good feedback. Secondly, I think we were one of the first streets to get slurried, so I'm in the green zone.
Mhm.
And I just want to pass some encouraging words to your paving contractor, because it's pretty stressful to get a street paved.
Mhm.
You know, those that have gone through that. And, you know, it was a 7 to 5 window. They started a little bit later than 7, which I knew was going to put them behind, but they were done by 5.
Good.
And so, you know, just kudos to the pavers. I think that's a hard thing to get done.
I sincerely appreciate that. Typically, that's not what I hear, and I have to fix those things. And so I really do enjoy passing that on a lot more. So thank you for sharing that. I'll let him know. Thanks.
Anyone else? Kim? Sure.
City Council, I'm going to go ahead and share the slide with our business contact, and I'll share with the Fountain Valley Chamber of Commerce to have them circulate this information to the businesses.
The only thing I would ask is you don't put my cell number on the website. Such I work for you, and such. But But if we can provide anything else to help you out, let me know.
Great. Anyone else? Thank you so much, Doug.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Have a good meeting.
You too. Okay, presentation by the City of Hope. Presentation by Jessica Patel, MBA, CRA, Director of Diagnostic Radiology, City of Hope of Orange County.
Hi, Madam Mayor, City Council members, thank you so much for having me. My name's Jessica Patel, and I'm the Director of Diagnostic Radiology for City of Hope, Orange County. I'm here to talk about the Lennar Foundation Cancer Center that we've opened in Irvine. So we've answered the call of Orange County citizens. Thousands of them were leaving this area to search care for cancer. Before we opened our cancer center, nearly 4,000 of our citizens were leaving the county in search of care. We answered their call, and we've partnered with 5 Point to open our cancer center in Irvine. Our campus forms the centerpiece of a regional network, and that regional network brings all of the scientific and research capabilities of City of Hope as a whole to us locally. Our patients now have access to more clinical trials than anywhere else in the region, and they have access to the power and expertise of over 1,000 physicians and scientists who focus solely on cancer. The Lennar Foundation Cancer Center is home to 44 standard of care infusion chairs. We have 10 research chairs, and then we also have a space that we can flex and adjust to the needs of our patients at that given point in time. In 2025, we'll be opening Orange County's only hospital, excuse me, this is nerve-wracking, focused exclusively on treating and curing cancer. And so what that means is that we'll be able to provide even more intensive surgeries and treatments for the patients of Orange County. And again, we're slated to open that in 2025. We broke ground about a year ago. As you may know, we're currently in the middle of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so I want to bring to your attention a couple of statistics that really bring home the effects of breast cancer to our community. So 1 in 8 women in the country will have some sort of breast cancer diagnosis within their lifetime. In Orange County, that goes to 1 in 7 women. So our county is really in need of this care and this specialized care that's focused on unique types of cancer. Early detection is really important when we're talking about cancer. Your first chance is your best chance. So early detection really helps us detect the disease at an early stage when the odds of beating it are the best. So that's why it's so important for women who are of a screening age to get their annual screening mammograms. We are happy to provide that service. We have our team waiting to get you on our schedule. You can call 949-671-4100 if you want to go with us. Otherwise, please go wherever is best for you and your family. If you or someone you know or love has been diagnosed with breast cancer, it's so important to seek out somebody, a medical oncologist who is specialized in expertise specific to breast cancer. So one of the best things about City of Hope is we take the patient's hand from the very beginning to the very end, and that includes prevention and screening before you're even diagnosed with cancer. So I couldn't leave you today without a couple things. If you or your family member have gotten a diagnosis for cancer, it's a really great idea to come to City of Hope and get a second opinion and make sure that your treatment plan is in alignment with other professionals. Make sure you're staying on top of your screenings. Again, annual screening mammograms for those of us out there who are of age. And as always, make sure you're building a healthy lifestyle for yourself. We're happy to help you in that endeavor. We're here to support the community, and we're just really glad that we're able to bring our care and our services to a community that was really in need. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Very much appreciate it.
Thank you, Jessica. I have a certificate to present too. The City of Fountain Valley Breast Cancer Awareness Month, whereas October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and whereas National Breast Cancer Awareness Month is an annual campaign to increase awareness of this disease and increase public knowledge about the importance of early detection of breast cancer diagnosis and treatment, and whereas the City of Hope, Orange County, recommends annual breast cancer screening with mammograms starting at age 40. Early detection saves lives, so schedule your mammogram today. 15 minutes could save your life. And whereas many organizations continue to search for a cure through vital research and physicians, public health professionals, and advocates to continue to educate our community about the awareness and innovative advancements in early detection and treatment. And whereas the City of Fountain Valley supports breast cancer research and recognizes the trauma breast cancer brings and understands that this horrible disease strikes women and men within the City of Fountain Valley workforce and community. Now, therefore, we, the City Council of the City of Fountain Valley, do hereby proclaim October 2023 is Breast Cancer Month and recognize all of the above and acknowledge all citizens' survivors' strength and ask all to join in this worthwhile cause, which aims to offer support for those courageously battling this disease, to recognize the many survivors, and to honor those lives lost to this disease. So if City Council would please join me, that would be great.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, I actually have a question for.
Sure.
No, I'm sorry, I had a question for you. You mentioned for those who need help to come and visit the City of Hope. 2 questions.
Sure.
What insurance do you accept?
Mm-hmm.
And what happened to those who don't have insurance?
That's a great question. So insurance is kind of complicated, and I'm in operations, so I don't want to, I can't really speak to the details of it. We are contracted with multiple commercial payers as well as Medicare, certain Medi-Cals. Of course, we want to make sure patients get the care they need regardless of what type of insurance. So if we don't accept your insurance, we're happy to help you find a location where you can find care that your insurance will pay for. And was there a second part to that? I'm forgetting.
Second part of for those who don't have insurance, what happened to them?
Okay. So we do offer certain financial counseling services. I, again, can't speak to the details of them, but we would be happy to get our patients in touch with somebody who can help them. We do realize that cancer care is super expensive, right? And so one of the things that actually drew me to City of Hope was our mission of democratizing cancer care, right? So often patients who have good insurance get the best care, or patients who live in a place where these places that do all this research are local, right? They get better care. And so that's why City of Hope is really making the effort to get cancer care widely available to all communities.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you, Jessica. Public comments, scheduled matters only. Persons wishing to speak on agenda items are requested to identify themselves by completing a blue speaker card indicating the item they want to address, and to give the card to the city clerk prior to the public comment period. Each person will be given up to 3 minutes to speak on the entire consent calendar, 3 minutes to speak on each agenda item pulled from the consent calendar, and 3 minutes to speak on any agendized items not appearing on the consent calendar. Do we have any public speakers?
I have no request to speak.
Okay. Consent calendar. Consent calendar items 1 through 5 will be approved simultaneously with one motion unless separate action and/or discussion is requested. Would anybody like to pull anything? Okay.
I have a motion by Vice Mayor Grandis, a second by Mayor Constantine. Please vote. Items 1 through 5 pass 5-0.
Thank you. Administrative items. Item number 6 is amendment number 2, CON-19-65, Pacific Coast Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Incorporated. Presentation by Mark Sprague, our Field Services Manager.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Mayor, council members. This is a contract extension for our HVAC maintenance services throughout all the city facilities. A brief contract history. The original contract was awarded in November 2019. It allows for contract extensions. The first contract extension was in 2021, which extended it for the first additional 2 years at a 2% increase, and the current contract expires on November 30th of this year. So this amendment is going to extend the contract again for 2 more additional years, and it accounts for another 2% increase. They've also asked for an increase in their hourly rate, which they have not increased in the last 10 years. And then we also, the city added new AC units to the snack shacks at the sports park. So we added those into the preventative maintenance schedules, and then we're also asking for an additional $5,000 increase for parts and materials for cost increases on that. So the total will be just under $13,000 increase on the contract total amount. Quick breakdown of it: the current contract is $94,000. This overlaps the fiscal year, so it ends in December. So the total annual contract is $107,000, but the fiscal year cost will be $102,000, and then next fiscal year will be $106,000 for a total of $214,000 over the 2-year contract. And with that, staff is requesting the City Council approval for Alternative 1, which is to approve the amendment number 2 to the contract 1965.
Any questions from council? Sure. Yes.
Sorry, I just want to comment. I was really impressed by the thoroughness of the staff report. There's a lot of analysis, and I was impressed that with all the increases in the contract, we're still within the budgeted amount. And you detailed out not only the increase but the extra services and everything. So, and I saw that your name was on also Ron Rothstein. I'm not sure if you guys worked together on it, but nice job on that.
Yeah, it was Ron and Christine working together, putting it together, and the financial impacts.
Yeah, it was really good. Thanks.
Anyone else? Great job. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
I have a motion to approve by Vice Mayor Grandis with a second by Mayor Constantine. Please vote. Item number 6 passes 5-0.
Okay. Item number 7, acceptance of proposal and authorize staff to issue PO to DMS Consultants on-call contract for design services for $49,730 for design plans, specification, and estimates for residential roadway rehabilitation project, City Quadrant C3, project number 24006. Presentation by Temo Galvez, our Deputy Public Works Director.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of City Council. The item before you tonight is the approval of an issuance of a PO to DMS Consulting. They are on the approved, City Council approved on-call list, and this is for the design for next summer's residential paving project that's in the area of C3, which is in the northwest part of town. It's bound by Magnolia Bouchard and between Heil and Warner. And so just to recap, our residential program has been a very successful program. It started in 2007. Prior to that, it was many years of slurry. And so in 2007, we embarked on our very first residential rehabilitation program and worked through town. And we essentially completed the entire city, where now we're basically back to some of the early first areas of town, and this is one of them. The work is going to consist of portions that are still grind and cap, but now we're starting to embark on some areas that will now have slurry as well. And so the investments that the city it put in years ago on the grinding cap will now be, the hope is that it'll be paying off. Part of that work will also include the implementation of ADA pedestrian ramps in the areas we weren't originally able to install, which were the first few phases of this program. We'll now be going back and being able to do that as part of this project. We'll also make sure that sidewalks are ADA compliant wherever there's sidewalks that are lifted, and also curb and gutter to ensure that the water flows when there's rain, and it preserves our roadway. A little history, back in 2021, the city put out an RFP for consulting services, including design work of this type. And DMS was awarded a contract as part of that. So this would just be an issuance of the PO. There's sufficient funds to do this work, and that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Sure.
I have a question. So one of the, in the design street section, they mentioned something called cold milling.
Yes.
What is that? Is that a new process? Or?
That is, so that process is when you cut back a little bit of the road so that you can put the new portion of the road so that it adheres. And so that's basically just when they call this a grind and cap, that's the grind part of it. You take off a little bit of the asphalt, and then you put back the new asphalt.
That's the milling, cold mill.
The cold mill, correct.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Okay.
A motion by Mayor Constantine, a second by Vice Mayor Grandis. Please vote.
I feel like I'm on Jeopardy. I can't get my.
Item number 7 passes 5-0.
Okay. And Temo's still up here with us. Item number 8 is UNEX LLC Amendment number 1 and 2 to contract number CON-2208 MunisCon 1140. Let's hear about that, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of City Council. So this item is related to our traffic signal maintenance contractor. And this is the contract and contractor and the work that relates to our traffic signals. So the city owns and operates and maintains 55 traffic signals in town, and the maintenance includes ensuring that the traffic signal poles, the signal indicators, traffic observation cameras, vehicle detection cameras, the controller cabinet, and all of its equipment are properly maintained so that we could ensure that traffic flows appropriately through town. Back in 2021, the city put out an RFP for traffic signal maintenance services. UNEX LLC was the successful contractor that was awarded the contract. Part of this contract and the RFP, it allows for the initial issuance of the contract to be a 2-year term with the option for the city council to approve 2 additional 2-year terms. The RFP and the contract also allows for the approval of a CPI increase. So the action tonight is 2 parts. Action 1 is the amendment number 1, which is to approve an increase to the contract capacity of our current contract, which is the official the original 2-year contract that ends February 2024, and that's to right-size the contract size to match the budget so that we can continue to do business and maintain our traffic signals through the end of this contract. Amendment number 2 is to issue an additional 2-year contract with an additional 5 months so that we could align the contract to be in line with our fiscal year, because the original contract was issued midstream the fiscal year. It was off sync, and so that allows for mainstreaming when processing with budget. The second part to that is an approval of an increase in CPI. They're requesting a 3.3 CPI, and that's well within what was agreed to in the RFP or allowed. And with that comes an increase of an additional $56,000 in the contract for the additional 5 months, along with $10,000 that are associated to the CPI increase. And that'll get us to 2026 with the total contract amount of $337,000 for that second 2-year term. That concludes my report. Any questions?
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Okay.
I have a motion to approve by Councilmember Canine, second by Mayor Constantine. Please vote.
Actually, I have a question.
Sure.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
During the extension of this 5 month, and would that also give us an option? For example, I know that we have a new public director coming on board. He has a lot to learn, everything from our city. Would it give us an options? Let's say if there's another contract that comes in and, hey, we did RFP and it came out lower, do we have the options to withdraw this contract?
Absolutely.
Or perhaps they will come back on the table and say, hey, we'll match your new. So it give us that options.
Yes, those
Okay.
options are always
Just
available.
make sure that we have those options.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
So, Tama, I have a question too regarding now that hopefully the bridge work is done and our signals are we planning on resyncing? Is that related to this project, or what are we going to do?
Thank you for the question. So, to your point, now that largely the 405 work and the bridges are largely done, and we got traffic back on the streets, we do have a project that we have in the budget approved as part of this last fiscal year budget, which will time all city traffic signals. So our goal is to try to get that in there and begin that process. So, but the plan is in the next year to begin bringing traffic signal timing back to how residents have enjoyed and been used to.
I appreciate that. I think we would hope for less than a year, of course, now that everything's done. So it's been a bit of an issue. I've heard some issues on that. So,
and also we're working with the 405 contractor in the immediate to return and restore some of the signal timing that was changed on a daily basis to accommodate traffic control and detour plan. So that'll be in the immediate. There are also
good to hear.
And that'll be in the immediate. We also have some signal synchronization corridor projects that the city is partnering with OCTA along Edinger, along Slater, along Warner, and on Euclid, where we're partnering with 6 or 7 other agencies, and so those two will begin to restore the signal timing, and those were timed so that they could come right after the opportunity after the 405 is finished, and so those are being implemented as we speak, and will be implemented one at a time from now through probably the next 6 months.
All right, thank you. I appreciate the update.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Tamo.
Thank you.
Item number 8 passes 5-0.
Okay. Council member items for future consideration. Do we have anything? Okay. City Council Successor Agency Housing Authority public comments, unscheduled matters only. Persons wishing to speak on an unscheduled matter are requested to identify themselves by completing a blue speaker card and give it to the city clerk. Each person will have up to 3 minutes to speak. The city clerk will call upon those that wish to speak. Do we have any speakers?
I have no request to speak.
Okay. City Council Successor Agency Housing Authority AB 1234 general comments. Councilmember Bowie?
Madam Mayor, I'm going to submit my report.
Okay. Councilmember Harper?
Thank you. On Wednesday, October 4th, attended the groundbreaking for the Universally Accessible Playground, the UAP, and want to say thanks to Rob Frizzell and all the staff that got ready for the event. It was a great event. We had State Senator Trita, representative from Congressman Michelle Steele's office, and a bunch of other community leaders to help us kick that off. And have they started construction yet, or? First week in November. All right, but that's really exciting. It did that, and then the rest of the period since the last meeting, I was busy preparing taxes, which the deadline was yesterday. But if you didn't make it, they extended it one more month till November 16th. Believe it. So,
I heard that. Yep.
So you have one more month to procrastinate.
Because of the rainstorms.
And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, because of the rainstorms. Councilmember Canine?
Thank you, Mayor. On October 4th, I was also happy to participate in the groundbreaking for the universally accessible playground at Moss Grove Park. I'm eagerly looking forward to the ribbon cutting when that project will be completed, and then seeing the joy in those who will have so much fun there. This morning, I attended the Most Improved Student Awards presented by our Fountain Valley Rotary Club, and I appreciate those who are in the audience and on the dais also attended. Our Mayor Constantine presented certificates, as was mentioned, Mia from Fulton Middle School and Quinn from Valley Vista High School. So that was great. It's always wonderful to see those students who work through a lot of challenges, and then especially the reward that they get from not only seeing their parents happy, but just the community really wrapping around them. And then today I also attended the quarterly meeting of the OCTA Citizens Advisory Committee, of which I'm now a vice chair. We received multiple updates on initiatives and projects there at OCTA, including the near-finished I-405. I did want to mention we did focus on e-bike safety, and so just to let everybody know that OCTA has got a pretty intense program on e-bike safety, and so I brought one of the flyers, little cards, and I just want to read real quick. There's 6 things. Ride with courtesy, know your class, think smart and think ahead, move gear, not people, wear a helmet, and be cool with your battery. And so those are some items. If anybody's interested, I've got some extra cards here, and that concludes my comments.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Grandis.
Thank you, Mayor. So on Wednesday, October 4th, the Universally Accessible Playground groundbreaking. Rob and the entire Parks and Rec team, but what a great event. And Public Works, too. I can't forget you guys. I'm super excited for this. I know that we're still fundraising for it, so you could go to fecommunityfoundation.org. There are some sponsorships available. I know, I believe the Kiwanis clubs are looking to contribute $5,000 to $10,000, somewhere in there, for some naming rights on the equipment. There are other sponsorships available as well, so that's pretty cool. And on Friday, October 6th, the Wendy's Chamber, Fountain Valley Chamber event, the ribbon grand reopening of Wendy's. It was a few years delayed as they went through COVID, and they recently joined the chamber, so congrats to Wendy's. That evening was the Hudson Beach Kiwanis Installation Banquet. Congratulations to John Etheridge, Fountain Valley's John Etheridge is going to be the Huntington Beach Kiwanis incoming president, and to Van Vu, the outgoing president, who also has a business in Fountain Valley. They should be in the Fountain Valley clubs. And on Sunday, October 8th, a great event over at Sports Basement, the OC Autism Rigs and Exotics event. Big shout out to Julie Deep for all the great work that she did there. There were hundreds of these really cool cars and a lot of money and gifts earmarked for those with autism, and those will be given out December. I'll be attending that event as well. And then that afternoon or late evening, the Fountain Valley Kiwanis Banquet. Congratulations to Brian Genovese, the incoming president, and to Mike Horitz, who is the outgoing president. And then on Friday, October 13th, was the Cal Cities OC Division Board meeting. And then I want to give a special shout out to Councilman Bowie, who is the alternate director for OC San. I missed my first meeting as my stepdaughter got married over in the Berkshires, and I was out of town. So thank you.
Great.
Well, thank you, Vice Mayor. It wasn't easy because I called the Vice Mayor, asked him, what would you like me to vote for today? He says, just go with the flow.
Oh, no, I said there was nothing that jumped out that you should be concerned about. I did read the agenda, and just go with the flow. But a big shout out, too, I got to say it since the mic's on. Elizabeth, Delory, and Tim, I want to congratulate you guys, my stepdaughter and her new husband, on their marriage.
Nice. Well, I submitted my list, but I want to remind everybody that the strategic planning meeting is coming up on Thursday, November 16th. It's open to the public. It's 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Fountain Valley Recreation Center. Please bring your lunch. It's a team-building meeting with City Council, City Manager, Attorney for the City, Directors, Management. Very interesting. And with that, it is 7:18, and I hereby adjourn the meeting of the City Council Successor Agency Housing Authority with the next regular meeting here in Council Chambers on Tuesday, November 7th at 6 p.m., 10200 Slater Avenue, Fountain Valley. Thank you so much for coming and tuning in. Thank you. Good night.